Alana, this is mostly for you because I can't. Mary just she's not going to hear or see anything, and I'm not quite sure you can. But I do got to say this because it's truly bothering me. The other day when you made your little plea to Mary, and I seen your little video, I saw emotion in you. It's like I thought that you genuinely cared about what happened to her. And I thought about that afterwards. And I thought, well, of course, what she's seen on Mary's channel is what she sees. And Mary's very manipulative. That's how she's done what she's done all of her life. And you didn't, but I thought that maybe you had enough in you to go back and see all the pieces that were missing out of the puzzle you were looking at, but obviously you didn't. But you responded to her who was coming up with another crazy scenario over something I said that just amuses me, actually. But you wrote this. I remember seeing that one, talking about what I wrote. A nasty thing to say. I don't understand how anyone can defend this kind of talk. You know what they say, your family knows your triggers because they're the ones who put them there. It's so weird to me when the older generation blames the problems of the family on the kids. When we come into the world, we're innocent and clean. It's the adults who corrupt us since very small, and they have the audacity to play victim. Let me start right there. First of all, you will never find anything where I've blamed the kids on anything in my life. When I was growing up, there wasn't much money, but I'm going to tell you, I learned a lot of wonderful values in that growing up. Was it my fault we had no money? No, it wasn't my fault. Was it because of laziness that my father wouldn't work? No, it wasn't his fault. Listen, circumstances come up in life and you deal with them and you go on and you learn from them. Things happen. No, I didn't have a perfect life as a child. But as I've said before, what I did was a little different maybe than anybody else in my family. But I took all the things that I thought were valuable and put them and tucked them away in my heart and my soul. And I took them out with me when I left home. And all the things that I didn't want to be a part of, I removed it. And I created the life that I lived. There's no problems. Seriously, I don't know what you've been told. I don't understand why you wouldn't get it a little bit deeper in it. You could still be there for her, but you could know the truth. And yeah, we all are born innocent and we're born clean, and we don't have the blame of what circumstance we came into, which is going to lead me to this point. I don't know what you think. It's obvious. I'm not some YouTube creator. I'm not a young chicken. I'm not young and beautiful. I am someone who grew up in a family that had dignity and respect for each other. When it wasn't me that came after her. It wasn't me that did that. She started, and I'm going to tell you something, and if you don't believe me, trust me, you will. When she came after the memory of my mother and desecrated it, as you two like to talk about, and took everything that my mother worked so hard to make right and turned it into an ugly mess. And I sat here and I thought, I've got to say something. Then she had the audacity to bring my daughter in it. My daughter, who passed away and left 2 minor boys here on this earth, that I kept watching them and looking at them, and I could, we all changed. We all changed. But I thought to myself, the things that Mary is putting out there about their mom, my daughter, unfounded, is what they could stumble upon one day, because the internet is not going anywhere, and they'll find it one day, because how can they help not doing it? Because they're computer kids. And I thought, I cannot let them come across the garbage that she has wrote and said for her own gain. If it was true, you wouldn't hear nothing from me. And have that be the last word? No, because I know I'm not, we don't live forever. We're born dying. Okay, when we're born, you're going to die. It broke my heart because I had so careful about saving things for them to have what memories up to that point they had. Saving every little thing my daughter had and wanted for them. And I promised her the day I let her go, the day she took her last breath, I promised her that I would take care of them boys and I would raise them the way she saw fit to. Not the way I wanted to, because I'd have spoiled them. That was it for me, because I realized I cannot let them grow up and have families and come across all this garbage one day and wonder to themselves. My grandma was always big about doing the right thing and telling the truth, because I am. That's very important, to being honest and being a gentleman if you're a man or a boy. Raising your boys to be gentlemen. I could not let them think for 1 second that everything I had told them was a lie, that I didn't have the backbone to stand up and say something. I didn't want them to see that and then maybe have vague memories and then come up with create memories like she does. I could not let that happen. My daughter's life was worth more than that. And she was a wonderful person. And she treated Mary very well. So she didn't deserve any of it. So don't come at me. And victim, I've never played the victim. I could get on here and tell you some stories. Let me tell you, make some of your toes just curl up, and then some of you'd be like, oh, that ain't nothing. You went through what I did. But I'm going to tell you something. That's not the way you get over things. That's not the way you conquer your life. I created my life the way I wanted it to be. And I guess you don't understand that, because now I'm getting a whole different picture of you. You're a lot like her. You've had trauma. And you just spent, I don't know how long, you probably still in therapy. You are spoilt as she is. And someone has kept you from skinning your knees. That's not for me to judge or not judge. I'm just saying that's my impression of you, just as you have an impression of me based on the limited knowledge you have from Mary, which is fine, because I never came on here to defend myself, ever. It wasn't about me. I'm done. I didn't need to defend myself when it came to her. I know the truth. I live with the truth, and I'll die with the truth. It was when she took those things that my mother and daughter stood for and did what she did. Now, maybe you don't understand that, and I'm glad you don't at this moment, but I'm sure you will, because you're digging into somebody who is dangerous. She like other people say, well, she's not, physically, she won't hurt nobody. No, she won't. She just does what she's doing to you, what she did to Kenneth. She weaves her story, and she gets it every day until your brain is so brainwashed. You'll do anything to make her happy, because she won't stop. That's the way she's been all her life. Now, this is where we're coming into the what I have finally realized in my life, a little too late, by the way, is you ask us to back off of her. And I see some people have really done that. And I personally did check, think I want to give Mary that chance to correct her life. But she owes me nothing, and I owe her nothing. I don't owe her nothing. She owes me nothing. But it would be beneficial to the world that we're leaving behind for the future if she is more productive. So I gave you that. But I see what you're doing. I see what you're up to. And I see, you might, I don't care if you read tarot or the crystal ball. I've done all that. But I'm going to tell you something. That voice in me is my deck of cards is inside. And it feels and senses things. And it tells me what I know to be true. And of course, this time it was right again. But I'm gonna tell you something. You are the reason why we have Marys. You're the type of person, and I have been guilty of doing the same thing myself. Just give them what they want, or I've caught myself saying with my grandkids, "Oh well, he's the baby. Just let him have it. Let me give it to him. Let me do that for him." No, that's not the right way. That's the problem. Everyone in her life has said, "Oh, let's just give it to her," because nobody wanted to hear that whining, screeching cry of hers for days, not minutes, not hours, for days. And she's doing the same thing. She's got it in for AP, and she's trying to make her point. Because see, when he hit truth in her, she became extremely rebellious, and she will carry it on for God knows how long until she gets what she wants. And what she wants is to prove him wrong. What she wants is to prove him wrong. She is just made up that way. She's a manipulative liar. Was she born that way? Was she raised that way? I'm not a scientist. I don't know. Maybe my sister raised her kids different than I did. My younger sister and I weren't, together all the time. I didn't like her lifestyle. I didn't like her husband. And what do you do when you don't like somebody? Like you've said, you leave them alone, don't you? Now, on family things, now Mary was a different story because, see, she wasn't raised there. She was with my mother all the time because after my stepfather passed away, no, it didn't want to hurt her. So, everybody done everything they could to keep her happy. And if having Mary around made her happy, well, we just kind of let it go and let it happen. Well, you know what? I should have stepped up then. Because maybe Mary wouldn't be quite like she is today. And I've seen a little of it, but I'm going to tell you something. She has even outdid herself as far as what was inside of her all that time. The manipulating lies and the greed. But you won't look into it, even though everything is out there for you to see the truth. But you won't go that far because you A, either lazy, or B, you don't care because you got another motive up in your sleeve. Well, good luck with it, because I'm going to tell you, she'll eat you alive. She'll have you committing a murder, or she'll have you doing something that you'd ever thought in the world you would do. Because that's the way she can manipulate and control. She's good at it. She's a professional victim. And it's sad she didn't get a little bit more of what I know. It's sad that she went on here and just tore innocent people up. It's sad that she distorted my mother, who, I am really upset. When my mother, very young, had a child from circumstances she could not control, she never once looked in that child's eyes and blamed them. She loved her more than any of us, more than Mary. And I'm going to tell you, you make me sick. You truly do make me sick. Just, you pretending to be like you're grown, but yet you don't even take the time. You just rip apart people. You trying to tear me apart, but you can't because I've already been torn apart. You can't, like I've told Mary before, you cannot hurt me any more than I have already hurt. I have lost everything. I have rebuilt everything. I have sat and I took care of my mother. I walked out of there with not one regret. Not one regret. The only regret I had is the time that I had to go through and waste going down there all the time to help try to mold Mary into somebody, trying to teach her some kind of sense of something to undo the spoiltness that had been put in her. My mother knew she made a mistake. And in the meantime, I lost time with my daughter. And I don't expect you to understand that. But you know what? When you lose someone, you lose a part of your soul. You do go back and you rethink everything. And I'm gonna tell you, your thought process. I don't understand it, and I'm not going to, because it's not like it's. You're right. It's not my generation. My generation wasn't like yours and you and well, not even yours. I can't put you in the same category as others. Because you're probably around the same age as my daughter and AP and Hatman and all of them. But I see them doing something with their life. I even listened to your singing. I listened to you, some of your videos, just to see what kind of person you are. And I thought, well, you know, she might be able to help Mary. And that's what I said. And no, you can't. You can't. I got to stop this. Just, and I'll come right back.